All right, what I want to do now is I want to talk through with you the specifics of our deadlines. I recommend that right now you have in front of you your day planner. I recommend that you have in front of you your course outline. I recommend that you have in front of you your Omega file, and you might want to have that Omega open, okay? Because we'll then go through quite a few of these. Now, we're videoing this so other students can study and see and be reminded of this information at Learn Strong. For example, if any of you have been absent today, the way you would have been able to get this intel would be to go home, hit learnstrong.net, and you'd be able to access, as long as you had any ability of online ability, you'd be able to access that information, okay? So what I want to do now is kind of walk you through this information. The first place I want to go is actually to the learnstrong.net information. Now, if you will look in your Omega file, do it with me now, and find your test sheet. Your test sheet. That's the one that at the top says T-E-S-T. Go ahead and put your first and last name there. That's your test sheet. Okay. By the way, I should pause for a moment. If I could have all eyes on me for just a moment. Okay, so everyone stop what you're doing so you can all hear this. New students, you have to hear this. Old students, just to be reminded. Mr. McGee, you have a tendency sometimes to start flying in here. And you're telling me to go here, and then you're telling me to go there, and then you're telling me to do this, and then you're telling me to do that. And I'm having a difficult time keeping up. We have special ways to deal with that in 303. If Mr. McGee starts going too fast, all you need to do, watch me, that's why I said all eyes on me. All you need to do is this. Now, if you do that, I won't call on you. So, for example, if I start saying I need to go here, then here, then here, Hunter's going, whoa, 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 whoa. He doesn't say out loud, whoa, whoa, whoa. He just puts his hand up but back down. When he does that, I'm not going to call on him. I'm not going to say, Hunter, what's your problem? No, 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 no. I'm not even probably going to acknowledge that he did it. Do you got me? What I will do is simply back up and say what I was just saying again. Does that make sense? So in other words, if you find that I'm going just a little bit too quick, all you have to do is this and back down, and then I just back up and I just start saying again what I was saying. If I don't back up far enough, you just put it up and back down again, and then I'll just go back a little bit further. Does that make sense? And that allows for you and me to be able to make sure that you're on board. Got me? So right now, I'm asking you to be looking at your test sheet. Okay? Your test sheet. Now, let's get something out of the way real quickly. In our class together, we use 3 different ink colors. This is important that you kind of understand this. Okay? We almost never write in pencil. So for example, if you're working with a pencil right now and you have a blue or black ink pen, grab the ink pen. We don't work with pencil, okay? We kind of leave pencil. Mr. McGee, pencil's on our required list. You're right, but for what reason? When we take Scantron tests, you have to use a pencil. That's pretty much the only time we use pencil in here. Everything else we use blue or black ink pen. Now listen carefully. If you are writing information down on your stuff, you use blue or black ink. When your colleague writes on your test sheet, your colleague is scoring something or whatever, giving you points, that's done in red ink. My ink color, Mr. McGee's ink color, green ink. All right? So you'll know my score by seeing green ink. Does that make sense? So right now you should have blue or black ink out. Go ahead and on that test sheet right now together, put your first and last name. Go ahead and put your other information at the top of the test sheet. That test sheet is specific for the first exam. Okay, this is the way we're going to keep our points for the first exam. I need you to either look at the course outline of your day planner and tell me, when do we take our first exam in room 303?
September 14th.
Okay, so what I want you to do then is I want you to right now write down September 1-4 right? And we're going to call it exam number 1. So we're going to call it exam 1, correct? And it's for when? September when? 1-4, because this is a junior offering. For those of you who are watching this on video, if it's a different kind of exam, if it's a different kind of class, it'll probably be a different exam date, all right? Now, what we do is we keep our records here for the reading, for the writing. Got me? So, for example, right away, we're going to ask ourselves, at 1A, do you see it there on your test sheet? At 1A, what is the first reading that we have that will be required reading for us? And that work starts with pages 1 through 13. So at 1A, right there you're going to write pages 1 through 13 down. Now again, what ink am I writing with? Blue or black ink? Blue or black ink, okay? Don't be. By the way, all I have to do is pencil or red ink. Then what I would say, go ahead and write with your red ink. That's fine. I would prefer you have ink versus pencil, okay? Okay. Pages 1 through 13. So you're writing that down now at 1A. At 1B, we'll go ahead and list the readings of next week. Pages 758. to 765 at 1B. 758 to 765. Okay? At 1C, pages 24 to 31. And by the way, those are bullet points. So if you want, you can just put the capital B and the capital P after it. What that really means, I'll explain in a while. Bullet point at 1C. And to my way of thinking, Mr. Schaefer, I think that's all of next week's readings. That's it. That's all the readings that we have for next week. Okay? Now, the way this works is, when you have your project done, when you have finished with those reading notes, what do we call them? Annotations. You're actually going to check it off in the column right there to the right. Does that make sense? So let's say, for example, last night you sat down and read pages 1 through 13. If you did that, hurrah! Go ahead and check off to the right there real quickly that it was done for you. On the other hand, let's say, dude did not get to that last night, had other things going on, right? Then, when you get it done on Monday, you'll come into class. Where will your test sheet always be? In the Omega file. You'll just check it off that it's done. This will allow you to be able to keep a record of what homework reading that you're doing. Make sense? Okay. Now, I like to periodically give you extra points on your test sheet. I like to do that for you. And one of the ways I can do that is for you to actually show me that you were watching any of the video instructions on LearnStrong.net. So very quickly on your test sheet, go to 3A. Do you see it? Class effort, addition, or deduction points? Hurrah! At 3A, if you will, you can write down there, Learn Strong Notes. Learn Strong Notes. Now what that means is, you went to Learn Strong before the first exam. Oh, when's the first exam? September 14th. You go to Learn Strong and you watch any of those lecture annotations, organization, writings, whatever, and you take notes. As you take notes, okay, keep those notes. You're going to put them together as a little packet. You're going to hand them in to me before the first exam. I will write on your test sheet in what color ink? Green ink. I will write on your test sheet, and I can put there plus points. Make sense? When you finish with exam on what day? September 1-4. You'll take an exam that will be a Scantron test. Do we all know what that is? You fill in the little bubbles on the Scantron, right? Look at the bottom of your test sheet. Do you see at the bottom there where it says Scantron score on the exam? That's the score that I will write down on the exam. Do you got me? But I will write the exam score in an ink color other than green. Because I still have to take into consideration all the points, right? Let's say you write a 60 on the exam, that's your Scantron score, right? But let's say at 3A you did some notes. All of a sudden your score just went maybe to a 65. See how that works? And I can continue to add other points for you, okay, as we get ready for the exam. Question, Mr. Beck.
The annotation notes we got last year, the papers,
Yes.
would we both be available this year?
I will have to find a way to upload a single copy of that to LearnStrong. Then you can print as many of those as you want. I will work to try and find some of those. I'll speak with Ms. Blake maybe about getting us some of those.
Garcia has them, I think.
Mr. Garcia has some as well. Yes, that's right. Of course, the reality, Mr. Beck, is as long as you're working with a lined piece of notebook paper, you can create your own, right? You don't have to have that form, but I understand that for some of us, that's a nice tool, isn't it? Nice tool. All right? So now I want to talk real quickly about your master scheduling work for the weekend. I want to talk about a to-do list. So let's open your date books. Mr. McGee uses the day planner all the time in here. By the way, Mr. McGee, I hate kind of thumbing through to find where I'm at. Can you give me a fast way so that I can do that? Well, one way to do that is just to get yourself a paper clip, isn't it? And you just kind of paper clip right to the opening. If you're looking at the opening, do you notice that for this day, it's the 24th of August, do you see down there in the right-hand corner, there's Saturday and Sunday? Do you see that if you're looking at your day planner? That's really a good place maybe to put your to-do list for homework, okay? And we're going to make that to-do list here in a few minutes, all right? So for those of you that don't have your day planner with you today, put an X on the back of your hand so that you can be sure to remember to bring it starting on Monday, right? Because we use it all the time. Not having your day planner in this class is kind of like playing football without a helmet. Yeah, without a helmet. And we don't want to do that, see, because then we might damage our cranium. Right? Okay. All right, let's talk through it real quickly. I'm going to make some suggestions for homework for this first weekend, okay? Certainly, as we're getting ready for the first major deadline for us, which happens when? August 31st, Friday. We'll get to March later, huh? Yeah, we'll get to March later. Okay. 1. The first suggestion that I'm going to make is that you get started on your master schedule deadlines of August 31st. Okay, that's the first thing. We're going to go into that in more detail here in a few minutes. What are those deadlines? What do they look like, etc. Okay. 2. I recommend that you get started on the annotations for next week. Notice on the test sheet, we wrote them down. A, B, C, and D, didn't we? Right? You might want to quickly write down those page numbers real quickly right off of your test sheet onto your day planner or onto that piece of paper where you're taking your notes. Okay? So that way that you know what you're doing.
I only see it goes to C.
Yes, I said, I believe on the test sheet, didn't we say at 1A, Mr. Karn, 1 through 13? You can look at your test sheet to be sure of this. Then at 1B, we said 758 to 765, correct? And then at 1C, we said 24 to 31, correct?
Yeah.
That should be all that there is. Mr. Karn has just, well done, Mr. Karn. Mr. Karn has just pointed out 1 through C, not 1 through D. I apologize. Thank you. Outstanding. Mr. Karn, you keep Mr. McGee in line. Mr. McGee played too much football without a helmet. Okay, right. That was a long time ago. Back in the old days, we didn't have helmets. We just used pieces of paper.
What?
Part of number 2 that you just wrote down is, Mr. McGee, you keep using this word annotation because when I read I got to do annotations, I don't know what that means. Put a note to yourself, LearnStrong then. Go to the LearnStrong site and watch the video on annotation and read page 2 of the day 1 packet. When you put those two things together, you'll have a pretty good idea of what an annotation in our class looks like. If you are new to our class, you have to do this. And since you're there anyway, looking at the annotation lecture, why not just take out a blank sheet of paper and take a few notes, hand those notes in, on your test sheet I can give you some points. Make sense? That makes sense to me. I mean, if you're going to watch it anyway, why not just take a few notes? That way you can hand it in and get a few points. So this weekend, that's number 3, I would say, is watch, learn, strong for, in this order, learning. There's a lecture on learning. There's a lecture on annotation. There's a lecture on organization. Outstanding. And there's a lecture on writing. I would watch all of those. I would watch all of those. They're not really that long. 15 or 20 minutes. And they're basic information that's just going to kind of help you. Okay?
What was the order?
Outstanding. I love that you asked. Thank you, Mr. Morgan. 1, introduction to learning. 2, annotation introduction. 3, organization. 4, reading and writing. I'm sorry, writing, not reading, writing. Writing. Oh yeah. Mr. Hunter asked, can I, when I watch those videos, what do I do? Right, just bullet point. McGee says this, bullet point. McGee says this, bullet point. By the way, if you want extra points, there are other lectures on there. I gave a series of comments a couple of days ago to freshmen. And that's a 2-part, it's 2 different parts to the video. I think it's called Welcome to High School or something like that. If you want to watch that lecture, you can watch that and take notes over that. I can give you points on that one as well. All right? Anything you watch on Learn Strong on that webpage, I can give you some extra points if you do any note-taking over it.
Will you be updating new videos periodically so you get more points on it?
Absolutely. For example, I'm videotaping as I speak. You bet.
You got the website here.
That's a great question. LearnStrong.net, it's not a .com site, it's a .net site. LearnStrong.net can be accessed from anywhere you have the internet. However,
YouTube videos.
However, this is important. I think this question is an important one. However, the videos are all uploaded to YouTube, and at the school we have a filter system. However, I am now, as we speak, uploading the same videos to SchoolTube, which can be opened from our high school. It bypasses the filter system. So by Monday, I should have all of these lectures up both at YouTube and at SchoolTube, which will allow you to be able to watch. Got me? Question, Mr. Beck.
What is part 2 of the master schedule?
I'm about to go through it. Thank you, Mr. Beck. I appreciate your assiduity. Well done. Riverton has no chance tonight. Okay, so now let's talk for a few moments about the master schedule deadline. I'd like you to be looking at your master schedule deadline checkoff sheet. Where is that? In your Omega file, and that's kind of where you left it. Let's work through this. Question? Absolutely. Make sure you take a pass. All right, you should now be looking at your master schedule. It says Friday the 31st, August 2012, deadline checkoff, right? See it? This is your master schedule deadline checkoff sheet. Your name in blue or black ink. And by the way, if you don't have blue or black ink, work in pencil here. Your name in the first line. Your grader will score this on Friday of next week. And your grader will be working in red ink, okay? Don't worry about that right now. As we work through each one of these, you ought to have your day planner open, by the way. As we work through each one of these, you will want to make a note to yourself if any of this information you still need. If you've got it, you just want to check it off. Make sense? In blue or black ink or pencil if that's all you got. The first thing is your student planner with your name written on it. If you've got that, check it off. By the way, all of this must be with you next Friday. You got to bring it to class with you, okay? A 3-ring notebook with lined notebook paper. I think we all understand what that is. Raise your hand if you don't know what I mean by a 3-ring notebook with lined paper. Okay? The next thing is your dividers. Do we all know what a divider is? Do we all understand the concept of the divider with that little plastic tab thingy? Okay. And your order of your dividers, do you see it? The order of the dividers, the first section is your master schedule section. Do you see it? I'm reading right off your paper. The second section is the annotation section. Do you see it? The third section is the vocab section. Uh-oh, we got vocab, didn't we? I gave you a vocab packet. You'll want to put that in the vocab section. Your grammar study, we'll talk about this next Monday in more detail. And then finally, your writing assessments. Those are the sections of your notebook in that order. You have till when to get this done? Next Friday. When do I recommend you have it done by? Next Monday. Yeah, for sure. Or even now, that's right. But for sure next Monday. Bless you. Okay? Keep going. You need to have at least 2 blue or black pens. You need to have at least 2 red ink pens. And you need to have at least 2 number 2 pencils. Why do I say at least 2?
In case one runs
You
out.
got it. Ink sometimes has a tendency to go away, right? You want to make sure you got it. Question?
Would a .7 lead?
It will be. Any kind of lead will be fine. Yeah, and normally our Scantron machine, my machine can usually read about anything. Yeah. The next thing that we need here is some kind of small flash drive because we so regularly work from the school to home, right? And it allows you to be able to save all of your papers off of your H drive, have your papers, work at home, etc. So throw that in your backpack. We need a small dictionary. Why do I need a dictionary? Well, I'll say it this way. The dictionary is optional for you if you can read this quote on the board behind me and knows what it means. If I have anybody that can read that quote and you know what it means, then you don't need your dictionary. Of course, for everybody else, when you show up, right? When you show up and McGee throws a word like architectonic on the board, I need you to be able to look it up so that you know what it means. Make sense? That's why we do, right. So Hunter says, well, I guess I'll probably bring a dictionary next time I show up here, right? Question, go. Absolutely. If you've got technology that allows you to be able to do that, that's fine. You bet.
Can we share at the table? Have one dictionary for the table.
No, I want you to have your own.
Oh.
It'll be a small one, though. Just get a small one.
I think I have one. I just don't know.
Pocket size. There you go. Pocket size.
I know this is a lot of subject, but can we get a copy of the Song of Life?
Oh, yeah. We'll
I
talk
know
about
where
it.
it's
Absolutely. You bet.
but
You bet. You bet. You bet. I'd love to do that for you. The next thing listed, stay with me. The next thing listed is you need to bring your textbook to class with you. By the way, you do not need to bring your grammar book with you every day to class. So put a note to yourself on that sheet of paper. The only thing you need to bring to class with you every day is your textbook. Uh-oh, look at the next one. I need you to cover that textbook. All right? Get some kind of a cover. Mr. McCreary, you have that kind of cover. Hold that up for everybody. Take a look at this cover. That's the best idea right there. Get you some kind of a, Mr. Karn has one too. Get you some kind of a stretchy cover, material cover. Outstanding. Okay? The next thing listed is your class novel. What's the first novel in here that will be tested over? Uh-oh. What's the first novel? How am I going to know an answer to a question like that? Right, I'm going to look at my course outline, and what is it going to tell me? First one is what? Scarlet Letter. You got it. Scarlet Letter. When do I have to take the AR test over Scarlet Letters? Anybody got that written down? When is the AR test over Scarlet Letter? You should be looking at your either course outline or your master's schedule if you already wrote it down. Sorry? October 4. It says, I think, Scarlet Letter or Red Badge of Courage. Take out Red Badge of Courage. It's Scarlet Letter. It's Scarlet Letter. Okay, question.
I'm looking through all my stuff. I don't know if I have my course outline.
Oh, excellent. So what do I do if I don't have something that I lost? We go back to the looser bin. That's right, to the looser bin. Now, Mr. Mortimer, we're not saying you're a looser. We're saying you lost your stuff, and so we'll for sure get you another one. Excellent. Excellent. If you lose your course outline or anything else, you have to come get a new one, right? Thank you for asking. I love it that you asked. Question, Mr. Beck? No, okay. All right, let's keep going. The water bottle, I ask you to just have, but hello? Hello? You can bring any kind of liquid in here you want, but make sure it's capped. Make sure it's capped, all right? So that way it doesn't fall. Question?
So, are any of the two due on the October 4th?
There's
See-
like 3 things
There's 3
said.
books.
On what?
October
Yeah.
4th, it says Crucible, Scarlet Letter, or Red Badge.
No, Scarlet Letter is the book that will be AR for this class, right? Because we all had a copy of it, right? You all got copies of Scarlet Letter, correct? Yeah, so that's all you got to worry about.
Okay.
Great question. The small calculator. Why do I need a calculator? Because through the course of the semester, we write down over and over again our scores on the Omega record sheet. Go ahead and look at the Omega record sheet real quickly, by the way. That's the one that's stapled into your Omega file. That's the one that's stapled into your Omega file. Do you see at the top there where it says exams? Go ahead and write down MS for master schedule.
It's already in there.
MS, it's already in there, hurrah. So I've already put that one there. When you get your score on what day? August 31. When you get your score on August 31, we'll put it there. Got me? That's where we'll put it. And then you'll have your first score. After you get 4, 5, or 6 scores, I'm going to tell you to run your numbers. That means you average, right, all of your scores. Then you can tell yourself what kind of a grade you have right there. Does that make sense? So having a calculator allows you to run your numbers. The last one, put a star next to, it's huge. The last one is a backpack of some kind. I need you to have your bag with you for 2 reasons. 1, our sitting arrangement in this room requires that you have some kind of a bag to carry all your stuff so it doesn't have to sit on top of tables. 2, sometimes we'll leave this room and go somewhere else to study, right? And I want you to be able to carry your stuff with you when we go. All right? Sometimes we go to the tech lab. Sometimes we go elsewhere, okay? So have some kind of a backpack. All right, now that's the supply stuff that's due. When? Next Friday. We now go to the master schedule deadline. Look at it with me now. Part 1 and Part 2. Put a note to yourself right there on that sheet that you want to make sure you study 2 things. Page 6 of the day 1 packet, page 6, will explain in detail the master schedule, Part 1, Part 2 deadlines. Got me? The other place I want you to go is to Learn Strong, to the tutorial video on organization and master schedule. When you watch that and look at page 6, you'll understand in detail what this is about. But let's outline it real quickly just so that we can be sure we know, shall we? Part 1 of the master schedule deadline. Part 1, we are writing down in our day planner all of the assignments from the course outline. Mr. Mortimer said, I need a new course outline. Absolutely right. We want to make sure we have that simply because we want to make sure that we can get everything written down. Make sense? Okay. Any questions about Part 1?
Thank you.
Part 1 of the master schedule. Part 2, we're going to look at all of those different headings. Do you see them listed right there at Part 2? We're going to look at all of those different categories. Do you see them listed? Right? A through F. Do you see it? A through F. And what you're going to do is you're going to type up a document where you're going to have those different headings, and then you're simply going to list the kinds of work from the course outline. Okay? So, for example, every time we have a grammar and a vocab test from the course outline, you'll look and you'll see, you're going to type up when we do that, by date. How will I know that information, by the way? I look where? How will I know that information? Right, I look at the course outline. Make sense? Okay? Again, page 6 will outline this in detail for you. The video online at Learn Strong will also help you there. If you have any questions, you bring them to Mr. McGee on Monday. Maybe even come into Orange Period on Monday to try and get some extra help. Does that make sense? Okay, thank you, Mr. Dewar, for creating Orange Period for us, right? Outstanding for us. We're going to be able to use that a lot during our semester together, right? All right, let's look at the next thing listed. Your rule sheet. Oh, if you've already got your rule sheet signed by your parent, should be in your Omega file. You can check it off right now. Hurrah, Mr.
Do you have it on period class or?
I am available Orange Period, so no, I do not have any students other than the ones who show up for my help. It's designed that way. You bet. Your typed goals. Let's look at the next one. Your typed goals in the 3 areas of reading, writing, and organization. Do you see that as the next checkoff thing? Mr. McGee, what are my typed goals? Some of you will write this down in your day planner to do for homework for the weekend, huh? Some of you will write this down for homework for the weekend. Typed goals. You are going to type 3 headings. Reading, writing, organization. Under each one of those 3 goals, you're going to list 3 things you want to do to improve. Does that make sense? You're going to bullet point 3 things you want to do to improve in the 3 areas of reading, writing, organization. Okay? How do I want to improve as a reader? For some of us it might be speed. I'm too slow. For some of us it might be comprehension. For some of us it might be improving vocabulary. For some of us it might be actually doing the reading. Whatever it is. Writing. How do I want to improve in my writing? Again, all you're doing is bullet pointing here. How many do you need to bullet point for each category? 3. That's all you got to do. For the 3rd category, organization, some of us will say, I want to improve on procrastination. I want to get better at that. I want to put stuff off so much. I want to be more organized. I want to use my day planner better, etc. All right, go back to your checkoff sheet. Student survey filled out. Student survey filled out. Do you see that? Well, what is that? Mr. Hunter will say the last page of the course outline. Very good. Everyone go to the last page of the course outline. Extract that page. Put your name right now on that sheet of paper. That's your student survey. You should extract that page because that should not be part of your, anymore, that should not be part of your course outline. Okay? Because you're going to hand this in separate to me. Go ahead and put your full name there, first and last name. Hello? Don't fill that out right now. You don't want to waste your time right now filling that out. But put a note to yourself in your day planner over the weekend, fill that thing out. By the way, several of those things, you're going to get that information from school counselor or Miss Malin. Okay? You got me? As you look at that sheet, though, the only place I want you to look is the last one. Do you see it? What can I do as your instructor to help you? I need you to tell me that. Okay? Right now, I'm just asking you, kind of what are your plans for the future after you graduate? You do realize in 24 months, you're done. Right? In 24 months, you're going to be sitting on some college campus as a high school junior. 24 months, you're going to either be on a college campus or you're going to be somewhere. You're going to be working, you're going to be in the military, you're going to be at a tech school of some kind. Guess where you won't be, hopefully? Sitting at home. See? Got me? So my question to you is, what do you want to do this year as a junior to start getting ready for your senior year? Does that make sense, what I just said? And if there's anything I can do that can help you, you let me know there. Make sense? When are you going to hand this sheet in to me, by the way? You're going to hand it in to me next Friday, right, on the 31st, aren't you? The other thing, and it should be listed next, draw a little line there, right below the student survey, draw a little line. It says, learn strong contract. Learn strong contact, unless you put this somewhere else on the sheet, which is fine.
Oh.
If you put it somewhere else on the sheet, that's fine. Learn strong contract. And we know what that is, right? That's that Learn Strong contract. By the way, if you've already got that signed, put it in your Omega file, check it off. Hurrah. Now, the way this works on the 31st, everyone looking at that sheet, the way this works on the 31st is that on the 31st, you bring all this to class with you. You sit down with a grader. Your grader will write his or her name in red ink at the top. You will have already checked off everything in blue or black ink. Your grader will actually ask to see each one of those things. Do you have your water bottle? Do you have your backpack? Do you have your calculator? Do you have your blah, blah, blah? Do you have your part 1 of your master schedule? That is to say, have you filled out everything in the day planner? Do you have your part 2 printed, right? And your grader will check each one of those off. Anything missing will be listed at the bottom of the page in red ink by your grader. Make sense? Then you're going to hand